Hello everyone, Katarina here. Welcome to the 6th Christmas card in my Christmas card series. Today's card I wanted to make for a very long time. I painted fir tree branches with Christmas ornaments. And along the way, I also made two mistakes. The first one was not a big deal, but the second one, I left it in the video. You will see. So annoying. I was inspired by this card. It's from 2017. I had it saved on Pinterest for a few years. It's actually made using stamps and dies, but I wanted to paint it with watercolors. I was putting it off because I thought it's difficult. I must say I was wrong. It's very simple to make. For the painting, all you need are watercolor paints, brushes, and watercolor cardstock. Here are the products I used. This time I picked Winsor & Newton Cotman watercolors, Canson Graduate watercolor cardstock, and some brushes. And if you don't have watercolors or watercolors are not your thing or you're not comfortable painting with watercolors, you could use other products. Watercolor pencils, watercolor markers, color pencils, or alcohol markers would work as well. So let's start painting. The first step was to create a soft green background just over the place where the branches will be. I used clean water, although my brush was a bit dirty, and I applied it over the top part of the paper. Then I used hooker's green. I also mixed it with some burnt umber and viridian, and I dropped it into the wet paint. Once the paint was fully dry, I started with the branches. I painted 3 branches. I started with a slightly curved line using burnt umber. I used a liner brush. I bought a set in Lidl, but you could also use the tip of a round brush, or you could use a pencil if you have one. Next, I painted the needles. These are just short lines along the brown line. I painted them in layers. I was switching between the hooker's green and sap green, but on my final layer I used viridian mixed with burnt umber. It creates a really nice, rich green. This one I added after I painted all 3 branches, just to add depth. And I also let each layer dry before I painted the next one. This might be easier to do with color pencils. You could mix and match, use color pencils for the needles, and for the rest, use watercolors. My aim was to paint fir tree branches. They could be also spruce. I really cannot tell the difference. As you see, I was painting simple strokes. I wanted the branches to be really full, so I painted a lot of needles, but you can stop at any point. The branches are done, and now let's paint the ornaments. I I used washi in 2 sizes as a guide for the circle, and I traced it with my pencil. You could also paint just one ornament, that is completely up to you. I used classical cadmium red for the ornaments. You could use any color you want, and I did just flat color. You could add more dimension with some highlights. I just wanted to keep it simple. Once the ornaments were dry, I painted the toppers and strings. I used a gold paint for it. These paints are very cheap, I found them on Amazon. I was simply looking for cheap metallic watercolors. If you don't have gold paints, you could use black fine liner. Here I made my first mistake. As I was painting the first gold string, I meant to stop below the brown line on the branch, but I passed through it. Not a big deal, but I did not like it. There is an easy fix. You need a clean damp brush and a paper towel, and most of the time you will be able to lift the color. It also lifted the green, but that was easy to repaint. Next is an optional step, because this product you might not have. I used the Wink of Stella clear glitter pen, and I covered both ornaments, just to give it a little bit of shimmer. When I started card making, everyone was using this pen, or glossy accents. I saw this idea on Instagram. I'm not sure what they were using exactly, some kind of shimmer watercolors, I don't know what it was, and I thought it was a really good idea. And the nearest product I had was this Wink of Stella clear glitter pen. Another optional thing is splatter. I really love splatter and cannot resist. Is it needed? No, but I really like it. First, I splattered the green watercolor, which I only wanted over the branches, so I covered the ornaments, and then I used the gold paints and splattered the whole panel. After the splatter was dry, I trimmed the panel. This is another personal preference. I like my panels to be slightly smaller than my card base, but you can skip this. Next, I stamped the greeting. I used a stamp saying God Jul, which is Merry Christmas in Swedish. If you don't have stamps, you can write it with a pen or leave it out. And instead of black ink, I decided to use brown ink. I don't have that many colored inks because I hardly ever use them, but I thought this was a really good fit. And here I made my big mistake. Let's watch. Oh my god, I stamped it upside down. What a stupid, annoying mistake. Luckily, I was making a second card along this one. I guess unconsciously I knew this is going to happen. So for the purpose of this video, this is how it was supposed to look like. The stamp just fits so well. So what did I do with the other card? I was not going to throw it away. The problem is that I don't have that many Christmas stamps in different shapes and sizes. First, I thought I will use the same greeting stamped on a black banner and fuzzy cat, but because I stamped upside down, it did not match. You could still see the other greeting below. I could have created a square banner, but I did not want to have a big black banner. Then I tried another similar greeting, just bigger, but I thought it was too big. It would be the same problem if I used a big black banner. The original one was so perfect. So in the end, I decided to stamp the original greeting, but on a white banner. I painted the edges with gold, which helped the look, and I adhered it over the upside down greeting using a foam tape. So I have my original idea, just slightly different. Two more things before we are finished. They are both optional. First, if you have distress inks or similar, I used the color Pine Needles and I applied it over the top right edge of the panel. I feel like it gives it more depth. Originally, I was planning to use distress inks over the first soft background that I painted, but since not everybody has distress inks, I decided to use watercolors. And as you see me doing this on my previous cards, I also used the gold paints and I painted the edges of both panels. This is just something I like to do. Lastly, I adhered the panel on top of a white card base using liquid glue, and I also used a brush to spread the glue around. Otherwise, once the glue is dry, you could see the glue lines on the inside of the card. And the cards are done. Here you see them both. But let me show you in the close-up the card you saw me painting. This is the one where I made a mistake. Here I also used the distress ink in the top corner. The other one doesn't have it. Both is good. You could also see the shimmer on the ornaments. And despite I messed it up, I think my final solution was the best. I hope you will give this card a try. It is truly simple, just a lot of short strokes. And if you would like to have more card ideas with ornaments, here you can see two, one with golden leaves and the other one with a landscape. If you enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate if you gave it thumbs up. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video.